Story 1. Entitled Mom Brings Along Her Kid to Work Unannounced. Background. My company sets up a booth at a carnival, and we engaged several part-timers to assist at the carnival. The part-timers are required to go around the carnival ground to distribute flyers, share information, and direct visitors to our booth. The story. On the day of the carnival, after setting up, I met up with the part-timers to prepare them for the day. Out of all the part-timers, only Entitled Mom was late. She mentioned she will be 15 minutes late, but it was closer to an hour. As we couldn't wait, I briefed the others and deployed them for the day. When Entitled Mom arrived, she had her kid in tow, 5 to 6 years old. Due to job nature, we can't have her lugging her kid while working. Entitled Mom knew this. Entitled Mom, my husband couldn't handle kids, so I had to bring her along. Me, I can't have you working with your kid. Entitled Mom, it's not my problem. If you don't like it, get someone to watch over him. My colleague, C, who was watching this unfold, offered to watch over her kid. He was only required to help out during the start and end of the carnival, so was entirely free during the event. I thought airtight since he was free. C, I can watch over her, get her some food, watch some shows, play some games, but you'll need to pay me. Entitled Mom, whatever, but I'm not paying you for your time, only for kid. C, grinning, sure. I was flabbergasted. C told me not to worry, he had a plan. Once Entitled Mom started working, C brought Entitled Mom's kid systematically through every single booth throughout the entire carnival. It was the kid's dream come true, and I believe her best day ever. Whatever she wanted to eat, C bought. She saw a lot of the shows and won many prizes. Since C had a staff pass, he didn't need to pay for the shows, only for the kid. At the end of the carnival, when we were clocking the hours worked, EM had the nerve to insist to be paid full, even though she was almost 1 hour late. She said that because of various reasons, mainly due to her kid, she would have been early. She was ranting, and I didn't really pay any attention as I was tired and I didn't decide on the pay, but it was about how I will never understand as I don't have kids and how she deserves it because she was a mother. My manager nearby winked at me and took over. He said he was very pleased with the day's sales and how we are very supportive of her and we should give her kids the best. He told not to worry about the hours she was working and EM will be paid in full. After hearing this, not even a single thanks from Entitled Mom, she declared in a loud voice, at least someone understands. She had this condescending and victorious look on her face. Thankfully, it didn't last long. The sucker punch for Entitled Mom was that Entitled Mom's kid spent roughly $100, and with Entitled Mom's pay at $15 an hour for 8 hours, equaling about $120, she made a whopping $20 for the whole day. C made it a point to keep track of the expenses, receipts, tickets, stubs, etc., and took tons of photos. Of course, Entitled Mom threw a fit, but with the amount of evidence and her daughter vouching for all the fun she had, Entitled Mom had no case except to yell, "I'm not paying for this," grabbed her daughter and stormed off. We look forward to payday when we issue her a check for $20 after subtracting the amount her daughter spent. Look, I am all for workplaces being more willing to work with parents. It's tough being a parent. There is so much that goes into it. And, when she was like, oh, my husband couldn't handle the kid, it sounds like maybe she's dealing with some stuff at home too. And so I am sure that she's having a hard time of things. And it is nice when a workplace can be more understanding and can try to help out and stuff. But she gets a little too entitled about it. This is one of the most deserved EM descriptors that I have seen. Because she just acts like everyone should bend to her whim and this and that. There's no oh, I'm really sorry about this. I'm trying to do my best, but if there's anything that we could figure out. Nothing like that. She's just you're going to figure it out for me. You're going to do this because I'm a mom and my job's hard. And it is. But you don't get to act like that without paying for it, and apparently it costs about $100 a day. Story 2. Let them eat cake. Long ago, way back in the before time, I worked for one of those bulk warehouse club stores. My trade was simple. I was a wrangler of the Silver Buffalo and dutifully retrieved the old ghetto strollers, I did. The job in and of itself wasn't the worst I'd ever had. I got plenty of exercise, got to be outside, and generally didn't have to interact with the members. Calling them customers was taboo. For the most part. The thing about this job is that the company I worked for had a reputation for being cheap. Thus, more often than not, I was on my own out in the parking lot. Big whoop, you might say. You gather carts. You should see how hard my job is. Yeah, well, shut up. This is my story, butt munch. I digress. The reason that being alone sucked is that this store didn't have just one kind of cart. Hell, they didn't even just have two kinds of carts. You had your classic garden variety cart, the kiddie cart with the plastic facade to make it resemble a car, the electric scooters, which weren't supposed to leave the store but did so with alarming frequency, and finally, the bulky, hard-to-control flatbeds. On top of that, whenever someone needed help loading their haul into their minivan, I was the guy they called, because the greeters, cashiers, and managers were all busy. As you might expect, one man cannot be in multiple places at once, and as a result, on some of our busier days, it became incredibly difficult to keep enough carts in the vestibule. Our story begins on one of these days. So there I was, chugging along with a good worker drone, struggling to keep up with the sheer volume of people coming in to buy cheap bulk goods. Sure enough, I get a call on the radio. Manager, Top Gorilla 17, we need some help some members load their purchases. Me, I'd love to, but I'm barely able to keep up out here as is. Manager, just do it, Top Gorilla 17. You can afford to stop gathering carts for 2 minutes. And Ron Howard, he couldn't. I didn't want to push my luck, so I complied. After spending 20 minutes loading people's purchases because when one person needs it, suddenly they all need it, I came back to find my vestibule a near ghost town, save for a single line of carts that was half gone and the Karen. I won't waste time describing this specimen. She was the prototype. You know what she looks like. There she stood, menacing, tapping her foot with such speed that could make any metal drummer green with envy. You could collect the contempt in her gaze in a jar. Karen, where are the big flat ones? I blanked for a moment. Me, I'm sorry? Karen, Mexicans. For the record, I'm very much white. Karen, where are the flat ones? Me, oh, you mean the flatbeds. I'm sorry, I was just helping some other members load their merchandise, and I haven't had a chance to. Karen, oh my God, I don't care about your excuses. You have one job, and a trained monkey could do it. I just want this lady out of my face, so I don't fight it. Sorry, ma'am, I'll grab one from the parking lot for you. You'd better. So I go back out in the lot and find a whole line of flatbeds sticking out of a corral blocking several parking spaces. I push them all into the vestibule where she waits, huffing about how I'm wasting her valuable time. I separate one from the rest and bring it to her. I'm terribly sorry about the wait, ma'am. She leers at me with utter malice. Unbelievable. And with that, she dismisses herself into the store where she will be someone else's problem. I shake my head and return to doing what I'm paid to do. About 15 minutes later, I'm returning a line of carts when I see her pushing her flatbed to her Miata and jawing about stupid people, most certainly referring to me, on her cell phone. You know what she had bought? What she had insisted on having a flatbed for? A cake. This wasn't even like a big cake. It was one of those little circular numbers like this. Anyways, I witnessed as she continues to yammer on about how I nearly ruined, I tell you, her precious baby's birthday party, when the most glorious thing happened. Still clutching her phone with those giant scoop claws of hers, she attempted to pick up the cake with one hand. The plastic topper pops off, and she spills the cake all over her undoubtedly expensive designer outfit. Seething with white-hot rage, she locks eyes with me. You get me another cake now! Terribly sorry, ma'am. I've got one job, and those carts won't gather themselves." I walked away, crap-eating grin plastered on my face as her shrieks faded into the distance behind me. I've had my share of nasty customer interactions before, but this one really took the cake. First off, round of applause for the person who wrote this because, mwah, masterfully done, beautifully assembled. The prose, the descriptions, this was a delight to read. No, not criticizing the other stories that I've read, but I tell you, if every story I had read like this, I'd be having a day in the hay. It's so good. Wonderful. Also, yeah, there's such a Karen. Just everything about that. So demanding, so rude, and also racist. Like, just everything all dumped into one. And then, at the end, it's her fault. She ruined her day, and it's her fault. And I'm sure she went in and probably got another cake for free because no manager would want to deal with her long enough to explain how, hey, if you are dumb, then you don't get free cake. But at least we know that she's unhappy. And maybe someone in her life could help her learn that other people, the people working at the stores, deserve to be treated nice, and maybe if she was nicer to people, more people would happily help her and she could just be happier. It's a cycle, folks. It's a cycle. Oh, man. Also, I really want some cake now. Story 3. My mom turned her guest room into a nursery after I told her she will never meet my child. I'm currently pregnant with my first child, and both my mom and stepdad have been terrible to me and my partner the entire time. Told us we would be unfit parents because we aren't married yet. Legitimately screamed at my partner for knocking up their little girl even though we planned the pregnancy. They would call him every day and harass him and show up to his work. Try to convince him to leave me so I would have no choice but to move back in with them. It got worse as time went on. I finally decided to cut contact with them. Having a child can already be a stressful time, and having them around to make it worse was not something I was okay with. My partner and I have gone through a lot with family drama the past couple years, and having this baby has been one of the most exciting things for us. If my parents can't be nice to my partner, then they don't get to see our baby. Plus, they're the kind of people who don't wear masks in public and actively choose to be in large gatherings with no social distancing, so seeing a newborn is out of the question. One day I sent my mom a very detailed email of why she is not allowed to be a part of my life anymore and will not be seeing her grandchild. To make things even better, I also noted that we will be moving across the country shortly after she is born to be closer to other family members. So not only is she cut off, but we are literally moving far away and never coming back. She responds by showing up at our house at 11 p.m. screaming outside of our door about how it is her baby and she deserves to be there for it. I tell her to F off, and eventually she leaves. Months go by and she will text me randomly about technical problems with her Wi-Fi router or something and needs help. Little things like that don't mean much to me, and I sent her the info she needed. My cousin also had a virtual baby shower and sent my invitation to my mom's house accidentally, so my mom came by to give it to me. Things slowly came to a point that we were fairly amicable with each other, but I still stood my ground about our boundaries, and nothing else had changed. She knew this. Then she sent me a video today that blew my mind. She redecorated her entire guest room to be a nursery. Crib, changing table, $400 worth of newborn clothes, toy chest, stroller, a car seat for her car, and the list goes on. In the video, she's in tears saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe my baby is going to be here soon. This is where she will sleep, where I'll change her little diapers. These will be her toys." Is she psychotic? Her baby? Sleeping and living at her house? What? So I call her up immediately and I reiterate that we are still moving across the country soon and that she will still have no contact with the baby before that. Her response? "Oh, okay, we will see about that." Genuinely confused. What part of you will have no contact with this baby does she not understand or think will change in the next few weeks when she is born? Is she planning on stealing her from us? I'm at a loss for words. Edit. Wow, so many great tips from you guys. Thank you for the advice. I showed my partner the comments I've been getting, and I think we're starting to take this more seriously and will be contacting a lawyer on Monday. I wanted to mention a couple things to clarify as well. I have been seeing a psychotherapist the past few months strictly due to the relationship I had with my mother throughout my life, and all of that is documented. My midwife and hospital are also very aware of the situation and the emotional stress I've been going through, so we will definitely be utilizing this in the case that she tries to sue us or call CPS. Also, due to the virus, only my partner is allowed to be with me during the birth anyway. We'll be keeping things hush until after we move. We would have moved months ago if it was financially possible for us. We also spent a lot of money on my birth center here that is non-refundable. She is due in August, and our lease ends in September. We already have everything set up to move, and our other family is helping us out. Just a waiting game at this point. My partner is my power of attorney if something happens to me during the birth. We're currently in a state that is against grandparents' rights. The only way she would be able to sue for visitation is if both myself and my partner were deceased. Even after we move, she still cannot file for GPS if she is living in this state. Yeah, there is a point in that story where this person's mother kind of crosses a line from just being a kind of overbearing, irresponsible parent/grandparent to someone who's genuinely kind of frightening, like showing up at the house at 11 o'clock, screaming at them, not respecting their wishes, showing up the husband's work and stuff, way out of line. It gets so bad, like the making the nursery and referring to the child as her and raising her there and stuff like this. And then when the mom's like, no, she's not gonna be there. We're gonna move. And the mom's like, oh, we'll see about that. That is like so borderline on threatening. Like that sounds like a threat. I would genuinely be worried. And I hope that this person did all right. Clearly this was from a little while ago. Hopefully everything's fine. Hopefully the baby turned out okay. And hopefully that baby's grandmother has stayed far, far away. Story 4. My boyfriend looked up spoilers to our favorite video game, so I did too. My boyfriend and I play Zelda Breath of the Wild together. I am a take your time and enjoy the ride kind of gal, while he is a let's look up how to beat this game right now kind of guy. Because his way ruins all the fun, we came up with a rule. No looking up spoilers. We were looking for a particular challenge, the 8th heroine side quest for my fellow Zelda nerds, for a very long time. Suddenly, my boyfriend said, I did something bad. I looked up where to go. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't take it anymore. I told him it was fine, but that he could not tell me what he had seen. He agreed. I then excused myself to the bathroom and looked up the location as well. I then spent the next hour and a half wandering so close to the location without ever making it there. I could see him squirming around in his seat every time I got close. When I jumped off the cliff the statue was built into, gliding down to the base of the statue and continuing on without turning around to look at it, I thought he was going to explode. He was clenching his hair in both fists and biting his lower lip, trying to contain himself. That's when I caved and told him what I had done. He thought it was hilarious and told me about how he wanted more than anything to yell, "Turn around! What are you doing?" We had a good laugh about it. He hasn't looked up a spoiler since. I like getting these stories that are just kind of sweet and good-natured. Like, this is all in good fun. I don't think anyone is a particular jerk or anything in this story. And I will say, like, everyone's allowed to enjoy video games in their own way. If you really want to play Breath of the Wild, looking everything up and not discovering it on your own, even though that's a huge part of what makes those games so fun, is the discovery and the joy of finding these things yourself and solving the mysteries, and why would you deprive yourself of that? But whatever makes you happy, you go ahead and do it. But yeah, when you're playing a game together with someone, sometimes you have to agree on, like, how you're gonna best enjoy it together. And yeah, stick to those rules, boyfriend, or I have a feeling that, wonder what what things you guys got up to when Tears of the Kingdom released, because, man, there are some doozies in that one. Man, I want a follow-up. Folks in the comments, find if there's a follow-up to the story and get it to me. I want to hear about how their Tears of the Kingdom run went. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.